Network AFM offers four core areas of functionality. Network Firewall, which provides Layer 3 to Layer 4 security by applying policy-based firewall rules on network traffic arriving into the big IP device. Denial of service, where AFM checks either on a system or per virtual server basis for potential attacks, and then can drop or rate limit that traffic according to thresholds you configure. IP intelligence, which can be used to block traffic from known unreliable or questionable IP addresses provided from several sources. Finally, AFM reporting and logging provides historical and analytical data for the security administrator. By default, the big IP system is a default deny device, a firewall in and of itself even without AFM provisioned. That means that no traffic will be processed through the system until you open it up to listen for application and administrative traffic. For application traffic, this is typically done by configuring a virtual server. Access can be controlled by configuring the virtual server with a specific IP address and port and by enabling it only on specific VLANs. Administrative access to the big IP system can be controlled through port lockdown and IP address allow lists. Packet filters can be used to define and enforce basic filtering rules for traffic through the TMM switch interfaces. iRules can be applied at the virtual server level to block or allow traffic all the way up into Layer 7. When you provision AFM on your big IP system, you give your big IP system additional network firewall capabilities at far more granular levels and with far wider reach than any of the methods just described. Unlike other network firewalls, AFM does not sit on a separate device in front of an access point and filter traffic coming in and out. Instead, AFM sits on the big IP device and the big IP device is the access point. AFM takes full advantage of big IP's full proxy architecture, blocking traffic first and allowing traffic to continue to flow to the back-end servers only if it passes AFM's firewall rules. AFM is stateful in that it dynamically compares packets against known active connections. If there is no match, the packet is passed through AFM's firewall rules. AFM is configured on access points, such as on a virtual server. These are referred to as contexts. A context is anywhere an AFM firewall rule can be configured. Finally, reporting screens and logs are linked to the context, making it easy to drill down into this information using the configuration utility rather than scrolling through log files to find out what traffic you sent where. Once you provision AFM, it begins working immediately. By default, it operates in what's called ADC mode, also known as application mode. In ADC mode, all traffic is allowed by default, and you gradually tighten controls by creating rules that explicitly block traffic. The alternative is to run AFM in firewall mode. In firewall mode, all traffic is blocked by default, and you gradually loosen controls by creating rules that explicitly allow traffic through. The majority of F5 customers use ADC mode. This is not to suggest that the system is left open or insecure in any way. ADC mode does not detract from but augments the existing big IP traffic processing behavior, which is default deny. AFM uses rules to specify traffic handling actions. The context in which the rule is applied is an important part of a rule's configuration. Rules are collected inside policies which can then be applied at a global level, on a route domain, on a per virtual server level, on a self IP address. Rules for the management port do not require a policy, but are defined inline directly on the management port context. This distinction is important since the traffic handling actions for policy-based rules are managed by TMOS, while inline management port rules are handled by the Linux component on the big IPs.
Log in into the F5 Big IP. Navigate to Security, then Options to Application, Security, then Synchronization. For Device Group, click the Device Group, then click Save. On the Big IP ASM-enabled Failover Device Group, create or update an application security policy. Navigate to Device Management to Overview. Click the name of the relevant device group. Set the view to Advanced under Devices. Click the device that shows a status of changes pending under Sync options. Click Sync Device to group click Sync